My first thoughts when I realized that Loki was going to have a series created for him were mostly surprise and delight, because I quite recently had filmed the scene in Avengers: Infinity War, and most people who've seen that film know what happens to Loki in that moment. So I thought this is wonderful, but how are we going to do this? Because what happens happens. So yeah, I was so excited and I was so thrilled. I felt very honoured that Marvel, the producers at Marvel Studios, had wanted to make a show about Loki, and then really excited about where we would go. And they were very generous and inclusive in asking me what I thought I hadn't explored yet as the character. Because we covered quite a lot of ground in the Thor movies and in the Avengers movies, but there were still things in various bits of research I'd done over the years, which I thought, oh, we haven't done that. We could explore this, and they were gracious enough to include some of my ideas, but most of the best ones did not belong to me. So in terms of the bits of Loki that you haven't seen before, what's interesting is that in this show, it's the Loki you know in a world you don't know. And he's stripped of all the things that are familiar. There's no Thor, there's no Odin, there's no Frigga, there's no Asgard, he doesn't even have his clothes or his magical powers. And so the question for me was, without those things, what remains? What makes Loki Loki? And the TVA, this organization, this institution that governs the order of time, is extremely confronting for him. It sort of is a mirror for himself. And he's forced to integrate some of the things perhaps he's always run from, some of the aspects of his life and his interior life, and driven towards a curiosity about finding out more. So yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but he's still the same guy. Charming, witty, charismatic on the outside, broken, fragmented, and a bit isolated on the inside. But there's room for maneuver, and maybe there's a chance he can change. We'll see. As an actor, what I loved about playing Loki in this series was particularly taking the things that I feel we had built about the character over time, and then putting him in new scenarios with new characters, working with Owen Wilson and Gugu Mbatha Raw and Wumi Masaku and Sophia Di Martino and so many more. I don't want to spoil who they are and who they're playing, but these new, fresh dynamics with all of the energy that these new actors bring, and therefore kind of creating new connections and that in itself revealing stuff. That's the most exciting aspect of it for me as an actor, is working with other actors and seeing their brilliant ideas and how generous they are. Particularly those actors I've mentioned, they were just great, and so that feels very fresh and very new. Yeah. One of the things I remembered about looking into Loki when I was starting out was trying to remind myself that Loki is the god of mischief, and mischief is as much a part of his identity as Thor is the god of thunder, and the way he swings that hammer and creates the lightning and the storm is a huge part of who Thor is. So mischief seemed to me to be a kind of guiding influence on the tone. And if you look up mischief in the dictionary, it says abstract noun, inclination to playfulness. I thought, okay, so everything just has to be, it can be quite profound, it can be dramatic, but keep the strain of playfulness in there. And I thought, the Loki series wouldn't be Loki without a bit of mischief. So I think all the humor comes from that twinkly, cheeky, slightly disruptive strain of humour that I think is threaded through the series.